Hello again, ancient miniature people, YouTube people. I've got an unboxing, one of my favorite things to do, unboxing of a new set of miniatures from a company from which I have not purchased before. This is Wargames Foundry in the UK. I've been looking at their World of the Greeks figures particularly for a while, thinking how interesting and characterful they looked. So finally time to get hold of some. So I've got a decent sized purchase here. I did pay for them. They were generous enough to give me free postage, but otherwise I paid for all these myself. So I'm going to go through them in a bit of detail and we'll see what we think. As usual, I'll do some size comparisons with some of the other metals that I've got recently and with the Victrix guys, and I'll also put up a list at the end of cost comparisons per figure for the metal ones, and also some of the better resin ones such as the V&V miniatures and the Blitzkrieg miniatures that I've got a bit of, purchased a few of in recent times. To kick off with a Spartan hoplites at the ready. So first thing you might notice is the pack comes with the spears, which is good, and they're the seriously rigid and seriously sharp little spears, so they're not going to bend. The only danger is you're going to stab yourself if you're not careful, so beware of them. So we've got Spartans. Now the other thing you might notice straight up is that they are all unique, which is something I really appreciate in miniatures, and not subtly unique like the vendor ones, but quite clearly and obviously unique here. So they've also got Spartan shields with the lambda. You notice there's a bit of flashing and mess on the edges, and the same with the figures on the say on their feet. That's going to need a bit of cleaning off, but I have actually pulled out a few earlier. I couldn't control myself and trim them off, and it takes a couple of minutes to trim them, do a tiny bit of sandpapering or filing on a few rough edges, but overall there's not a lot of cleanup work required for these guys. We've got the Spartan long hair going there. Let's think about scale here. So let's get a few other guys. So just the other day I did a review of, or unboxing again, of the New Lines miniatures, including some Spartans. So here's a New Line Spartan on the right, Foundry on the left. Size is almost exactly the same, isn't it? Maybe generally the New Line are a little bit smaller than some figures, so it's probably a few percent smaller, but it certainly wouldn't look out of place together. Let's see, what about versus a Victrix guy, and he's teensy bit smaller maybe than the Victrix guy, but again not really noticeable. And then the Vendel figures made by Thistle and Rose in the US. I've got a Persian here, and the Vendel are a little bit chunkier, but height otherwise I think's totally compatible too. So they seem a nice intermediate kind of scale that basically fits with everyone. They look a teensy bit smaller than Vendel, maybe a teensy bit smaller than Victrix, teensy bit bigger than New Line, but therefore quite a nice mix with everyone, so that's a good option. So they're all just standing to attention. You've got some with the helmets, all with the simple kind of Pylos helmets, those that do have them, a couple without. I like them, a lot of character in those guys. Let's shove them aside. There's another group of, oh no, they're not actually Spartans. Anyway, we'll work through them as we go and we'll see who they are and what they are. Next lot, let's have a look at these guys. So they've got really big pikes, sarissas really, these fellas. I think, who are these guys? They might be the Athenian armoured hoplites at the ready, yeah. Let's check them out. So first up you notice a couple of their shields have those, or three of them actually, have those little skirt things to protect from arrows. That's cool. Hanging down, they're actually attached, molded on, which is nice. Again, lots of tiny little bits of flashing and stuff to remove, see off his hand and so on. But as I say, just a pair of clippers only takes a few minutes to prepare each guy, make him look good. like that, with the sword strapped on his back, strapped on the side. So yeah, they do have a lot of diversity, which is really excellent, I reckon. Corinthian helmet back, nice face on view. All these standing with their big pikes. I'm not sure if I use the big pikes. I'm probably better off with a normal size spear, but anyway, I might use the broomstick ones. One thing I did notice with the guides, I have done a little bit of cleanup work, is the hands tend to have, a lot of them tend to have a bit of metal in there, so you've got to clip them a bit and do a little bit of drilling to make space for the spear. Not all of them. There you go, that guy's hand's totally clear, so maybe 50% need that. That's nice with a sort of gabbard on the front there, a bit different. Some of them got the bell cuirass metal, and some of them, I think, linothorax. Oh, maybe they're all metal. Metal. Probably paint them either way, some of these guys. But I think that's linothorax. I think I'll do it that way. Yeah, so that's nice. I've got a huge number of, well, not a huge number, but a fairly substantial number of Spartans. Very few Athenians to fight against them. So I'm going to redress the imbalance so I can do the Peloponnesian Wars some justice. I'll just pause there and get some more guys up. Here we've got some mercenary Peltasts. That's listed as being Greek or even Macedonian. Again, nice rigid spears there. And these guys looked excellent on the website. They just, again, all individual, all quite full of character and interesting. So they're going to be a joy to paint. Some have got the crescent pelter sort of shields. Some have got the aspis. Some swords, some spears, some throwing, some standing. There we go. Look at that pelter on the back. Cool. Summoning reinforcements. Lightly armored. Nice helmet. Beautiful. Very impressive. What else have we got? Let's try this next set. Oh, now this one is the Mercenary General set. So you can get a set of Spartan generals, and I think from memory there's a set of Athenian generals. Anyway, have a look on the website. But this one looked great because it's got a bit of everything. So this guy's clearly Spartan. This guy presumably with his long flowing beard coming out front and back. So I'd call both of them Spartans. And then these guys could be any other Greek city-states you wanted. So I think you can probably use a couple for Athenians. Probably would be a Spartan, but he could be someone else. And the other ones, I might use one as a Theban, maybe a Corinthian. He's got a Corinthian helmet. Actually, most of them have. Yeah, so they'll do nicely for a few different city-state leaders that I'm going to be working on in the future. And that's quite cool how their shields actually all moulded on. So there's no attaching needed for any of those ones. I always find the guys who are in that kind of pose holding the shield generally doesn't look super realistic unless it's actually molded on like this. So I think that's better than you attaching it yourself. Hopefully it'll look great. Alright, away with you dudes. Who's next? We've got some, might be the Thebans, they are, yeah. So I'll probably do them as a Theban sacred band. These are the ones I've tidied up a little bit already with a bit of clipping and filing and stuff. So you'll see there's not much flashing on these guys. These are a little different in that there are 2 of each, so you don't get 8 unique figures, but it's alright. They shouldn't be too hard to modify a bit. So here goes. Those 2 are the same. Those 2 are the same. Those 2 are the same. Yeah. 4x2. I've got those helmets, which are fairly distinctive for the Thebans, similar to the Macedonian companion cavalry, and these kind of pot helmets, almost like World War II kind of style French, or World War I French helmets anyway. They've got a variety of different shields. So I've got the 2 with the arrow skirts. They've got two with nicely embossed pattern around the edge, and then 4 standard aspis. Theban Sacred Band are going to be good. And then we've got the final group. Who are these guys? Oh, that's right. Is the Argonauts. So Jason and the Argonauts, famous ancient Greek mythology. So I didn't particularly want to do mythological figures, but these just look beautiful and very versatile. So, and all interesting. You know, could be also kind of mercenary generals. So he's great. He's Linothorax. No helmet. He is great in Linothorax. No helmet with the ram's head embossed on his armor. Similar guy, beautiful. They just totally exude character, these figures. Every one of them looks amazing. So I'll probably use them in I'm using them in bigger armies. I think put them up the front with all your more generic guys behind, and they'll look great. Look at this guy. Fantastic pose. Oh yeah, and all the shields are embossed with that ram's head symbol on the front, which looks tremendous. Look at him. He could easily be Alexander the Great. Any other famous Greek leader? It could be Jason. I don't know if he's meant to be Jason, but he would do. Another one. Some sort of hero. Minimally dressed. Big sword. Big shield. Come on. Cool. Alright. So that's them. Oh, there's one other. So how he got in here. It's a Napoleonic War figure. I must have just put him in just out of interest. That place here looks good. A cool kit there. Haven't done any Napoleonic figures since my early teens. So intricate. Very colourful. Probably the other era. Them and the samurai is probably the other eras that are equally colourful to the ancients. Slightly tempted to do some of them, but a bit stuck on the ancients. So anyway, that's them. So I think they're fabulous figures. I'm excited to get started on a few of them. I'm going to go slowly through them because I've got a lot of other painting tasks on, and they're just such nice figures. I don't want to rush them. So I'll just work through them slowly and do a few more videos from time to time when I've got enough to show. So in the meantime, I'm going to put up some really cool pictures that I've found both on their website and on their Facebook page and elsewhere online to show how fantastic they look when they're all painted up. So there you go. I hope that is some use. I would certainly be advocating these guys, and I will be getting some more. There's a few other ones that I was tempted to get, but I thought I'd just see how I like them first. They've got a big Persian range as well, and lots of other ancient figures too, usual ones, Romans and Gauls and Germans and blah blah blah, but these ones really stood out for me. All right, see you around.